All right, Dave Warren, welcome to the podcast. We do this a little bit just for some social media snippets. Dave Warren is our mortgage rep for Plaza Home Mortgage. Dave, Give me a little bit about yourself, where you're at. I just said, but where you're at, how long you've been in the industry, and a little history.
All right. I've been doing this a long time. I'm a bank rep for Plaza Home Mortgage right now and been there just over a year. And I've been in this mortgage business a long time. I had hair back in the day, and I started out my career at mostly not New Penn, Option One, Finance America, and now I'm doing good things over at Plaza, and it's all good. I mean, the mortgage business is definitely a lifelong industry.
Yeah, and I have to say, you are doing good things at Plaza. You know that because you get my transactions, you get my deals. I'm going to start, and I thought about this last night. I want to start by saying thank you. You know, I've texted you this before, and a lot that goes into my career. You gave me shots when I was like a young gun loan officer. I've known you since my career started.
Yeah.
And you helped me structure deals that came to me when other big banks said no. Mm-hmm. You helped me structure deals that other people couldn't do. And it made me realize the benefit of being a mortgage broker.
Yeah.
Because we had options when, you know, a while ago we had options W-2 only, all different stuff. Like stuff that we saw that was common to us that other banks weren't doing.
Right.
And me being a young gun loan officer, I'm thinking like, oh, if this big bank can't do the deal, how am I supposed to do the deal? And you're like, and you'll be like, oh, well, if you put 25% down, you get a limited review. Like all these different things that I never knew as a young gun. So I learned a lot from you. Yeah. And you helped me close transactions. And in the end term, you also helped a lot of home buyers.
Yeah. Listen, sometimes this business doesn't come easy all the time, even though it's not rocket science. I find that I like talking to young loan officers because they don't know everything, and hopefully they'll give me business because that's the name of the game, and I build a relationship with them. You become family. You didn't have kids when I used to know you. Yeah. Now you have a couple, and you know, the business changes, but hopefully the people stay the same, and you grow with them and get older with them, and I've gotten older. But it's still a great business, and you need to know how to structure a deal. Listen, I've made mistakes structuring deals, but I own it. And you go on, and we're not curing cancer, but we are providing a valuable, business. We're providing value to our customers. They want to get in a home. They want to start a family, and that's where they start it, in their home. So it's really important what you end up doing and helping people get to their first home, their second home, their investment homes.
And you're the backbone to that because we have a bunch of different non-QM mortgages, which are like the non-Fannie, Freddie, FHA, all stuff.
Correct.
That stuff that I didn't, as you explore, because as the market got smaller and Fannie and Freddie, regular mortgages, there's less and less of them. The banks explore these non-QM programs that you ask me something about Fannie or Freddie at this point, I can answer it in no time. Mm-hmm. The non-QM, I'm back to relying on you.
Right.
You're super helpful with the guidance of, you're like a mortgage textbook, and I say it because I'm a true believer. I was just reading the article about Rocket shutting down their originations for, they had insurance agents, real estate agents, tax advisors. They're like, oh, go do mortgages here, do it under our name.
Yeah.
And it failed.
Right.
Because mortgages are not just an easy thing.
Right.
And you know that.
No, I know that. And it's not easy. And, there's always people learning the business, and they get to know the business, and every customer is different. And every day I learn something new or hear something new, or how does this work or that work? And like you said, the non-QM products are changing the landscape of the mortgage industry. And also, we didn't mention this, but renovation loans are changing the landscape, and they're very popular now because there's not as much inventory as there was. So you and your spouse might be going to look for a house that you can't envision being your house because there's work that needs to be done. But there are products to help you get that home to be as pretty as you want it to be, with bank products that are really strong products and help you make it the home you want to be.
Yeah. Yep. One thing that I say to a lot of new LOs getting in the business, and it's going to be my next question to you, join a team. Join someone who's learned from their failures. Join someone who has trials and tribulations.
Right.
And it's something that through your trials and tribulations, I learned.
Right.
Because you taught me a lot of stuff. You know, listen, there's a list of people I could look up to in the mortgage industry.
Right.
And you taught me through your trials and tribulations, which allowed me to not make those mistakes.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
again, thank you. So,
Well, thank you for the business.
yeah, my question to you, ready?
Yeah.
You get a loan officer brand new to the business, okay?
Yep.
Came in, they call you, they're like, Dave, give me one word of advice. And it can't be run.
Tenacity.
All right.
You know, just be strong. Stick with it. You're going to learn things. You're going to make mistakes. If you call back your customers, tell them, you know, what you're working on. Be honest. That I can tell you that for sure. Be honest. I've never lied to any of my customers because it's so important, because that's the trust that you and I build. And I'm going to tell you if I made a mistake. I'm going to tell you, you know, what I did wrong. So I can tell you, be honest with your customer. Be, you know, tenacious. Go after it. There's tons of business out there. We're in a tough environment right now in the mortgage industry. I think we should hopefully we all keep saying this for the past year and a half. Hopefully we'll see the rates turn and come down a little bit more, and it'll happen at some point.
Yeah.
And when it does, you know, there's going to be plenty of business out there for everyone. And the mortgage brokers are just such an important part of the business to the population of people looking for homes, whether it's a buy, sell, refinance, whatever it is. You guys are just so important because you make it possible for people to get the best possible deal from whichever bank they choose, whether it's my bank or another bank. And I say this to my customers that I talk to all the time: text me, call me, email me. It might not always be for a deal that you have with my bank, but if you have a question, I want them to call me, because that's how I build a relationship with them and let them know, hey, maybe this deal didn't come to me, but if I can give you advice on how to keep it at the bank that you're at and help them get the loan closed for you, that next deal you're going to think, hey, maybe I should work with David on this because he helped me with that last deal.
Yeah.
So it's you know, that's what I would tell a new loan officer probably.
Yeah. And it's funny because we had an email chain with the company today. You emailed out your pricing special for March.
Yeah.
I tell people that. Listen, we're not a one-size pricing engine.
Yeah.
You know, you just emailed a pricing special for
Right.
all of March.
Yeah.
You're going to get an influx of business.
Right.
Not every lender is always going to be a price leader. But the benefit of that is we have access to over 40 different lenders.
Exactly. And it's just something that, you know, lenders are able to do, and different banks do it at different times. And, you know, my customers are important to me, and they're, you know, I want them to get the best deal for their borrowers. So, yeah, you know, there's certain products that we can give a little bit more room on, whether it's non-QM, renovation loans, debt service products, that we want to go out and give them 150 basis points towards their, you know, pricing to help them get that deal closed.
Yeah.
Maybe not take advantage of some rates that haven't been there lately.
Well, I've seen you help people out where it was they were thinking of going FHA, and you told them, hey, they're under the income limits.
Yeah.
Their payment came out cheaper going conventional as a first-time homebuyer program.
Yeah. First-time home buyer is huge. I mean,
Yeah.
if you have certain, whether it's home ready, home possible, not even that, even if you're just a first-time home buyer, whether it's, as long as one of those borrowers is a first-time home buyer, that's either of the two spouses, whoever's on that deal that hasn't owned a home, they do qualify for the first-time home buyer, as long as their income limits are not, in certain areas, not more than 120% of the area median income. So, you know, there's some great products out there, and we offer a lot of them. Not all of them, but a lot of them.
You were in it during 2008. All right. Any similarities now to 2008?
The similarities, I would say, is yes, just it's the same. People have the same mindset when from the brokers, like, you know, when's this going to turn? When is this going to get better? The industry does clean up a little bit, because some people who might not be able to stay in it as long because they're not tenacious. Yeah. They're not going to say, oh, I don't know when this is going to get better. I can't make a living off of this business. But if you stick with it and the similarities might be the mortgage business goes up and down. It's not like a regular type of industry where you're a doctor, an attorney, and you know that if you keep that business practice going, it's going to continue to be pretty level. This industry goes up and down. So we have our ups and downs, and when the times are great, they're awesome, and when they're bad, you got to suck it up and really dig in and get back to basics, boots on the ground, visit your customers, talk to people, call people, and always call people back. That I think is probably what's made me a very successful account executive. Is I miss calls sometimes, but I don't really listen to voicemails because I just see who called me and hit the button and just call them back because it's a waste of time for you to leave a voice message.
Yeah, and I've sort of mimicked that from you because knowing that if you don't answer, and first of all, you answer all the time, and you'll answer and you'll be like, "Hey, Nick, I'm just in a meeting. I'll call you right back." know. Yeah. So, and I've learned that from you. Like, and now there's that short text. Hey, I'll call you right back.
Right.
Because you want to make the customer. For me, it's the client or the realtor. For you, it's the mortgage broker. You want to make that customer feel like you saw them.
Yeah.
No matter what.
The most important people, I want every customer to feel the most important. I want my customers, when you give me a call, I want to give you your attention and say, hey, Nick, what do you need? Let me pay attention to what your question is, your scenarios, give you the time that you deserve. And all my, brokers deserve that. And I want to give it to them. And sometimes could be a little scatterbrained if I'm looking at emails. So that's another reason I like
on the golf course.
That could happen. But that's another reason I like to give my customers their time and attention is in their office because I can look at you and we can pay attention to each other. And sometimes it's just like that phone call. Hey, check in. How's the family? How's everybody? Because like I said at the beginning of this, I think of a lot of my customers, my friends. Like I like to check in with them and see how their families are and everything. So, and I know your customers, a lot of your customers, the referral partners that send you business back, you want to make sure that they're good and their families are well.
Yeah. It's funny because questions it's like having you is like having a back end support. Mm-hmm. If a realtor texts me a question that I don't know the answer to, I'll text you.
Right. Great.
I'll be like, hey, Dave, does basement need to have this?
Right.
And because you have that experience, and it's super important to learn from people who've been in this longer than you.
It's funny. I'll tell you a quick little story. I was in the car last night driving to the city. My son was in the back, and my wife was in the car also. And we were driving to the city, and I got a call. I picked up because my son always says when the phone rings, that could be dollar bills ringing. So anyway, I pick up the phone, and a customer had a question. And it was an FHA question about a mixed-use property. And basically, he thought he had to structure it one way, but I told him, you don't do it that way. That doesn't make any sense. You don't need to go to the lengths that you are going to try and get this deal done. And I hang up the phone, and my son says, Dad, how do you even know that? I just said, honestly, it's just time, experience, and reading and trying to remember everything. So I guess I have a photographic memory when it comes to certain guidelines, and I just know that I got to give my brokers a quick answer because you want an answer when you call. You don't want me to put you on hold. Hey, let me check. Listen, you do have to check from time to time with underwriting because guidelines change daily, monthly, whatever. So I do like this. Hey, let me just check that for you, Nick, to make sure I'm sure. But I can give you enough of an answer to at least get you going to get back to your customer.
Yeah.
So
crazy time when COVID first happened and they started tightening up guidelines.
Yeah.
I was like, I would submit something and I'd be like, wait, what do you mean it needs that? What do you mean it needs reserves? What do you mean I need a VOE within 24 hours of closing?
Yeah.
It was a crazy time when it first started.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you deal with so many mortgage brokers throughout New York. Mm-hmm. And there's going to be a temperament that you get from every mortgage broker.
Yeah.
Is it the ones that are happier and out there, boots on the ground, back to basics, that are making the business, and the ones that are dwelling in the, hey, there's no inventory, that aren't? Or just give me a little bit about it. Like,
it's always going to be the guy with the boots on the ground being more aggressive and just getting out there, finding different referral sources. You want to go after the guy who's just as hungry as you are. Everyone has someone to feed, whether
Yeah.
it's yourself or a family. So you got to make sure that you're going after. People are hungry. I mean, what's in your belly? What's the fire that you have? And I have it because I want to make sure that I'm getting as much business as I possibly can from whatever customers that I visit. I don't know that I'm not getting all of it. I don't ever expect all of it, but I want a nice percentage of it so we can build a relationship and learn from each other. But I'd say those people out there that are getting the business are the ones that, like you say, out visiting, going to open houses, talking to realtors, keeping in touch with the borrowers that they just closed the purchase with 6 months or 8 months or a year ago, and be like, I'm just keeping in touch with you. Rates are where they are, but out 6 months, 8 months, I'm going to give you a call so we can get you into a lower rate. Those are the people you want to make sure, hey, I still got to keep in touch with these people that might not have a loan to refinance now, but at some point, someone's going to call them to get that loan. And who's it going to be? And you want to work with a bank that's either going to A, give it back to you, or B, make sure that you're in touch with your customers and have a little tickler file to make sure, hey, I got to call, Mr. Johnson. We closed him when rates were at 7.5%. So.
And shout out to you, the #1 rep in Plaza.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Thanks.
Just going back to what you just said, I just texted a client today, and all my clients sort of become friends by the end of the deal.
Yeah.
It was his birthday, so I texted him. Just bought a house on the water. Hey, happy birthday! No, it's not boat season yet, but I hope once it is, you're out there enjoying the new house and the boat and the dock and everything like that.
Yeah.
So, super important. Mindset. What is the importance of your mindset in this industry right now?
My mindset is stick-to-itiveness. Stay with it. Just like keep cranking it out, talking to your customers. Every call's not a deal.
Yeah.
Every call is, hey, here's a new product. Here's a different way to go after your customers. I mentioned renovation at the beginning. That's a great product to learn just because you might not know a lot, but you could become the expert in that field that nobody else knows about. And it's really, people think renovation, they get scared. Oh, it's so hard, this and that. Reverses. I don't do a lot of reverses, but we offer reverses. I'm not the expert, but we have experts in our office. So my mindset is keep learning, learn about the business, learn about new products, and constantly, keep yourself abreast of changes that are happening.
Yeah. Do what you need to do.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to cut it because I think we got a good amount of snippets, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the goal is to just get snippets out of it, not like a long